Thanks. Outside. Hey, okay. You can just download it offline. This, you can just download it. Yeah. Yeah. Which one? No? Oh, you're just, hello? Friendly? Beauty Queen wave?
Take notes. What not to say.
Okay. All right, we're joined by Texas head coach Mike White, players Caden Henry, Jolie Mitchell, and Tegan Cavan. A reminder to please silence your cell phones. And then when you get the mic to ask a question, to give your name and media affiliation. Recording the press conference with your cell phone is prohibited, video that is. And if you're on the Zoom, make sure to use the raise hand function so we can call on you. We'll start with an opening statement from Coach White. Questions just for players. Players will be dismissed, and then go to questions just for Coach White. So if you have an opening statement.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure where to start with that one. It's so exciting to be able to finally beat the Sooners in Oklahoma, the first time since I've been part of the program. And, they're such a tough team year in and year out, and they didn't go away this time either. We scored 2, they scored 2. We get up by a couple of runs, and then they come back and really had the winning or go-ahead run at the plate. But fortunately, we had a tough pitcher in Tegan Cavan today. We didn't help her early on, but she battled through and kept her mind in the game and really was a warrior for us throughout the game today. Then, of course, the two ladies to my right here came up with some big hits that we needed in the situation. But we know it's not over for sure. Whoever comes through is going to be tough to beat. But that's what's making softball great right now. It's it was an exciting game for sure.
Okay, we'll start front row left, Ryan.
Ryan Aber from the Oklahoman. Tegan, I understand it was an emotional day for you. Just what's it been like today going through this, and what was it about you that helped you, be able to get through this the way you did?
It's not easy, obviously, but I think what helped me is at the end of the day, it's just a game. And I think it put it into perspective. I'm just chucking a yellow ball and people are running and turning left. And so I just wanted to have fun. Just have fun.
Was there any thought of not playing today, or?
No, I knew. They told me it was my ball if I wanted it. And so I said, we went with it.
Okay, we go front row right.
Brady Vernon, Southwell America. Just Tegan, what was talking with Patty Ruth coming into this game and how you wanted to attack, especially the way the regular season win against OU was more effective of drop ball, trying to change speeds more? Just if you could go into that.
Yeah, I think honestly, nothing necessarily changed much on, scout. Obviously, you just have to mix with them. And I think it was just execution of pitches. I think that could have been better earlier in the season. And so I'm glad to execute it here and that it worked in our favor today. Just one pitch at a time. But she calms me down a lot.
Okay, we'll go third row right.
Thomas Jones, Austin American Statesman. Caden and Jolie, knowing what Tegan was going through today, how did you guys have her back, or did you say anything to her? How did you help her off the field?
I would say for sure, just having the energy, making sure to have her back, and emotionally and physically here today. Mindy wasn't personally my family by blood, but I loved her a lot. I lived with Tegan last year, and she was like another grandma for me. So as emotional as it was to win this game for her, even to hit the home runs for us to go up meant a lot for me, and I almost cried during that as well. So, today was just for Tegan, it was for her family, and it was a whole lot of love on the field today. It was just a different meaning.
When Tegan told us this morning, it was honestly my worst nightmare. I was scared that's what it was when she texted us this morning, but she told us, and the first thing she said was that she's good and she's ready to go today. So Tegan Cavan's my hero today.
Okay, we're good. Second row right.
Daniel Homrock, OU Daily. Tegan, take me through that 7th inning where OU gets 2 runners on and you strike the next 2 batters out.
I said it on field, but I was just telling myself to execute one pitch at a time. Obviously, a tough day. I wanted to just take it pitch by pitch, minute by minute, slow things down, and so just executed one pitch at a time.
More questions for players? Go front row left.
Clay Horning, Norman Transcript. Tegan, you had a rough time against Oklahoma in the regular season and some rough times after that too, but you're pitching wonderfully here. Did you have a talk with yourself? Did you figure something out, or do you attribute anything?
I think I mean, it's a new season. Postseason's a new season. I think recognizing that every day is a new day, and so I think honestly just throwing it away, not thinking about it.
All right, we'll go third row on the right here. Pass back for me. Thank you.
Thomas Jones, Austin American Statesman. These guys have beaten you so many times up here in Oklahoma. What was going through your minds kind of late in the game when you had a lead, and what was key mentally to holding on for the lead?
I think a big thing today was we were still communicating with each other. We've talked about the last couple of weeks that's been a big thing for us. I trust every person out there, and I know that we trust each other. We were communicating when we came back in the dugout, and when things went bad, maybe we had a moment, but then we came back together. So today was about just playing a ball game. I think we did a really great job of focusing on us. We weren't really focused on the crowd. We weren't focused on what Oklahoma was doing. We were focused on what Texas softball was doing. We went out there and played ball.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it was a big part of communication today and trust. There was a lot of moments where, I look to my right and I see Stewie, and I look to my left and I see Ashton. It was just knowing where we were on the field, knowing where our middles were, knowing that, hey, if you go and catch this ball, I'm going to back you up, that we're not going to let them get anything more than what they deserve on the bases. And, just having Tegan's back and having our infield back, and, we go out there and we get one runner on, and it's like, hey, how can we push for another? So I think today was just big on just trusting each other and communicating, just doing this for us and doing this for another chance to get that natty for our school.
Okay, the next question will be on Zoom from Ann Parker Coleman.
Hey guys, yeah, Ann Parker from KVU here in Austin. Julie, I kind of just want to expand on what I think Thomas asked earlier. Just a lot of emotion from you, and we've talked before, and nothing makes you more emotional than this team and this sport. Just kind of expand on how you're feeling right now and what this win means to you.
I'm beyond grateful. I came to Texas to win a national championship, and I've got this team by my back. I've got their back. I would pick this team in every single lifetime. I'm really proud of the way that we came out today. We wanted to play for Miney. Tegan went out there and pitched fantastic. We went up there, we were being good, being selective, being disciplined at the plate, and making things happen. I just want to keep doing that for the rest of the week. The job's not done.
And we're more than thankful to have her on the squad. I mean, she brings a veteran presence besides today, besides what she's gone through even at Notre Dame. I mean, she's a huge part of our team. She's a huge leader.
All right, that'll wrap things up for players. Thank you, players. You're dismissed. Right. Questions for Coach? Okay, we go front row right.
Brady Vernon, South America. Just, Mike, what does it say about Tegan to go through what she had, the crowd against her, and just all the noise that could possibly be there, and she went out there and was just kind of lights out all day?
Yeah, I mean, it's been her in her demeanor right from the start. She's been very calm, very level-headed. Sometimes you almost want to kind of prod her a little bit to get a little more out of her, but that's what makes her such a great competitor she is. I mean, having her grandmother die and being able to come out and just pitch what a great game, and just have stuff happen early in the game, and then at the end stuff happening. It's like she just held it all together like a true warrior.
Okay, we go front row right again to Joe.
Mike, beating Oklahoma here for the first time in program history, is that overcoming almost a mental hurdle for you guys? Because you've been close talent-wise for so many times. Just what can this do for your program?
Yeah, we have talked about that for sure, being a little bit of a mental hurdle, and it's tough. I mean, there's a lot of pressure out there. They always have great teams, and if you make a hiccup, they make the most of it. And just like we saw the other night, they're never out of anything. They come back and hit a 3-run homer, and you always think that's in the back of your mind that it can happen. But our kids, like Tegan said, just reverted back to one pitch at a time. And I know it's a cliche, but that's really all you can control. And I was just glad to see she leaned on that.
Okay, we go third row to right.
Thomas Jones, Austin American Statesman. Mike, a couple of coaching moves. I think one inning, you had Steve Singleton at third base. You were at first. And then before Caden's home run, I think you were questioning the legality of an OU defensive shift maybe.
Yeah.
But what were you hoping to accomplish with those two moves, and did they work?
Yeah, well, the defensive shift, Coach Z takes care of those, the Oklahoma substitutions, and she thought that it was an illegal shift. But and in fact, we may have to look at it because the umpire said there was nobody in left field. But when you make that shift and you have somebody in left field, so how can that happen? So it's kind of interesting. We'll have to kind of get to the bottom of that to figure out what happened. But you can't argue once they made the ruling. Secondly, putting Steve at third, sometimes he can see some stuff with different pitch tendencies, and so he was over there to see if he could find something. But she's too smart for that, so she covers things up and does a pretty good job.
More questions for Coach? Okay, we'll go front row left, Ryan.
Ryan Aber from the Oklahoma, and Mike. Obviously, Tegan really struggled in the regular season series against the Sooners. What was it that she was able to, execute or do differently today to be successful versus when y'all saw them a couple months ago?
Yeah, I think, they're going to punish you when you make mistakes. And we just had some balls drifting over the plate. And, and she was losing a little bit of movement on her pitches. So we really focused on continuing to make the ball move through the zone, not only just throwing hard, but making it move through the zone. Because when you looked at it, she had good velocity, but she just didn't have the location like she mentioned and also the movement on the pitch.
Okay, we go to Zoom next to Eric Lopez.
Eric Lopez, D1 softball. Coach, talk about Jolie Mitchell and Kate Henry. Both hit big home runs today. They feel under the radar at times when people talk about your team. Their value to your team was enormous today, and it has always been, hasn't it?
Well, that's what you need if you're going to go far in this championship. You need to have different people step up at different times. It can't always be a Reese Atwood. It can't always be your superstars or Mia Scott. And to have Caden break out a little bit of a mini struggle there to get that home run, it was great and it was awesome. And you'd usually like to see her speed, so hitting a home run was a bonus. For us at that time. And then, of course, Jolie Mitchell's been crushing it lately and has really been able to protect Reese in that 5 position in the lineup. And like the lady said, she's a warrior. She's been there and done that. I mean, if you know the history about her, she was very sick at one time right through the COVID area. Of that time that COVID had an autoimmune disease and really had to battle through some things. So there's some history there you should probably look at how tough that kid is.
Any more questions? Okay, we'll go front row right.
Brady Vernon, sophomore. Just early on, it seemed like you guys wanted to challenge Emily behind the plate. How much does the speed also play into your team when we kind of get obsessed with like the home runs and the power in the middle of the lineup? Yeah,
I mean, obviously, whoever plays Oregon can see how dangerous speed is. I mean, they've stolen well over 100 bases, and it puts pressure on. And we're fortunate to have a couple. I think that the rule where you're leaving early kind of dampens things just a little bit. You're a little careful not to steal as much as what you used to. But we felt that we could steal today, and it set up those first couple of runs for sure.
Any more? All right, thank you, Coach.
Hey, thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, we're joined by Oklahoma head coach Patty Gasso and players Sam Landry, Ella Parker, and Abigail Dayton. Reminder to please silence your cell phones and give your name and media affiliation when you get the mic to ask a question. Recording video with your cell phone of the press conference is prohibited. If you want to ask a question on Zoom, use the raise hand function. We'll start with an opening statement from Coach Gasso, go to questions just for the players, dismiss the players, then go to questions just for Coach Gasso. So if you have an opening statement, feel free.
Okay. Tough game for us, but I will say Kavan was throwing really well, and had us a little bit off balance. I think we talked as a group that our offensive mindset was not like it has been, and that made a difference. But I thought Sam threw well. It's hard to shut down a Texas offense. They're kind of very much like us. And defense played well also. The biggest issue that is circled right here on my paper is 9 runners left on base, and that cannot happen against a good team like Texas.
Okay, we'll start off front row left, Ron.
Ryan Aber from the Oklahoman. For Ella and Abby, you hear Patty talk about the offensive approach and game plan today. What did you feel like maybe wasn't there today versus Kavan, and what was the biggest difference from when y'all faced her in the regular season?
I mean, Kavan had a really good game. She's a really good pitcher. I just think our in-game adjustments weren't locked in, and that's just something we needed to work on.
We just had to work on making sure we were swinging at first pitches that were coming through the plate. There were many balls that we were swinging at that we don't normally swing at, and so just being able to make in-game adjustments, I think that threw us off. So.
Okay, we go third row on the right.
For any of the players, I mean, you guys have beaten Texas so much up here. I'm guessing the confidence level was still pretty high, even, getting down to the last couple outs. What was going through y'all's mind just in that last inning?
Just continuing to stay loose. We know how to play this game, so not making any moment too big, and just continuing to pass the bat is what we were talking about and what we really focused on.
Okay, we go front row left, James.
James Hale. Sam, talk about your performance today and how you think things went for you today.
I thought defensively the team looked very good. So we were just trying to keep the ball in the park, and it doesn't always go that way. So they came up with some timely hits, some good hits, and that helped them a lot. So I'm really proud of the defense. I thought they looked great today. Another double play today. So.
More questions for players? Okay, we go front row right.
Ryan Chevitz, hi. Ella, you guys were in this spot a year ago, just as far as having to come back against Florida. What was kind of the message and everything going into tomorrow?
We're just ready to come out and compete again. We're ready.
Okay, we'll go third row left.
James Kreppe with the Oregonian. Ella, you're one of the few players who played Oregon last year, and I realized a lot of players on both teams have changed, but they do have one pitcher who was a holdover. What do you remember of the Norman Regional and playing Sokolsky last year? I realize it's right off a game against Texas, but what do you recall of the matchup with Oregon last year?
I don't remember.
All right, we'll go second row left. Right.
Sam, just those 2 home runs in the 5th and 6th, just take me through those at bats, and what was your mindset going into them?
The mindset going into all of them is get the defense a ground ball, get them a fly ball to work with, and I think both of those pitches were just left too much over the heart of the plate or right in their barrel path. So, they got a good hit on it, and we're ready to bounce back tomorrow.
Do you want it? Or
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, for Sam, just talk about your defense today. I know it wasn't enough, obviously, to pull out the win, but still more plays like you had 2 days ago in the opener. How big is that for you guys going forward?
Yeah, like Coach always says, defense wins championships. So I think the defense looked absolutely amazing. They kept us in it as long as we could. So they had a lot of fire today, and just ready to bring it back tomorrow.
Okay, have time for maybe one more. Anybody? All right. Thank you, players.
Thank you.
Questions for Coach Gasso? Go.
Sale. Patty, Tegan was, she can throw 70, so that's always a constant thing, but wasn't her ability to throw that change for a strike, which she hasn't always been able to do, but she was able to do it today?
That was part of it. It's hard to be on time for something hard and something that is, like a change up. So she was kind of moving the ball up early, and then she started really hammering the zone down and mixing in those change ups. She was really tough today. I give her 100% credit. She was really, really good, and our timing was off, and our plans were a little bit uncertain.
Okay, we'll go front row right to Jesse.
Jesse Crittenden, OU Insider. Patty, you mentioned the 9 runners stranded. There being some plays you guys were able to get runners on but not bring them home. Just what was kind of keeping that from happening, and what can you guys learn from that?
I think movement of runners is really important. We got a bunt down. We popped a bunt up. We had I think Ilana hit something hard to the right side to move a runner in scoring position. We're just trying to get runners in scoring position. And I don't know. I don't know what else to say except it's not that they weren't trying. There was a little bit of frustration going on in the offensive side of things, and you could feel it. Just a little bit of uncertainty, or what should I look for? What should I choose? But the goal is just getting runners in scoring position. And we did have a couple of those opportunities that could have changed, could have, but didn't. And that's, the toughness of this game.
Okay, we go front row left over here to Mason.
Mason Young, Tulsa World. Patty, to kind of follow up on what Ryan asked Ella, you've had teams that have been in this situation before here, backs against the wall. How much can you draw on that to help this team get ready for tomorrow?
A lot. They were in the same position. I mean, they literally were in the same position 2 days ago. So we talked about this is not uncommon right here. We've been here. We know how to come back. What I need to make sure I understand is all these people up here, with the exception of Ella and everyone in our dugout, is new to this. And I've got to keep them grinding. I got to keep them not getting caught up in what if or thinking about the outcome. I've got to keep these guys in the moment and make them believe. And when you run into a saw, like that's what it felt like. She was just chopping us up a bit. But I stood in front of these guys today and I said, I've been waiting for this moment to see what this team is truly made of. So that's what we're going to be ready for.
Okay, we'll stay front row left. Go ahead.
Colton Sully, the Oklahoman. Patty, I know this game's fresh on your mind, but I'm just curious what tomorrow will mean to you facing Melissa on this stage, and what you've thought of the job she's done this week to get her team here.
Yeah, I haven't even had a thought about it quite yet, but we'll get ourselves ready for it. It's a celebration. I mean, she has been with me for over 20 years. It's like a sister to me, an older sister to me. Sid Romero is one of my all-time favorites. Sam Martyr worked with us. I mean, we know them very well, so it's going to be a battle. We're both fighting for our teams, but at the same time, there's absolute mutual respect, which feels good in this game. To feel like you can feel that way against the team that you're playing against. I already know it's going to be done professionally and the right way, and that means a lot to me. So that's what I if it's not going to be us, I want it to be them. I'll say that very clearly and out loud because they've lived in our program, and their program, I think, might mimic us a little bit by the way she's coaching, but I take that as a complete honor.
Okay, we'll stay front row left.
Yeah, Clay Horning, Norman Transcript. Patty, you've had pitchers that have become their best selves on this stage before. That might be happening to Tegan Kavan right now. And just what are their common denominators? What is it, mentally between the ears that allows a pitcher to sort of elevate?
Yeah, I can't speak for her. I'm not in their locker room or anything. I just can tell you that some of the pitchers that we've had in the past that have been elite on this stage, to me, is just the absolute mental focus. Like, you've got to get in a zone and you got to stay in a zone. And that's really important. That's what I felt out there.
Okay, we got time for two more. Ryan, front row left.
Yeah, Patty sort of gets lost and maybe doesn't matter as much, but right before the home run there in the fifth, Mike, challenged, I guess, that defensive shift that y'all had done. I know it was a little bit different that time. What was he saying? What did they tell you? And he said that was something that maybe he needed to look into, moving forward.
I wasn't talking with them. I had a conversation with the umpire before the game even started, knowing that we were going to do that. What do you want me to do? And he said, nothing. Just let them in. Let them come in. So I did exactly what I was told, and there's no way. Thank goodness he didn't turn that around on me, but that's what our conversation was, and that's what I understood.
Okay, last one, front row right, Joe.
Joe Masato, the Oklahoman. Patty, you guys have certainly had the better of Texas, especially here in the World Series. Mike White said that in some ways it was a mental hurdle for them to overcome. I was just wondering, from your perspective, have you sensed almost a mental edge that your side has had in this series?
We have a mental edge at home, for sure. I can feel that. And I think they have it when they're in their environment as well. They're too good. Their team is too good for us to walk in and think, well, we're just going to shut them down. Or they're too good. They've proven it. They are that good. They're definitely a team that can win this whole thing. I know that. But we're not done yet, and that's what's really exciting for me. Is I just am really looking forward to seeing our response and rebound with this team. For me, it is going to mean the world, because it's going to take us into the next couple of years. So these young players are feeling this, and they'll be able to preach it to the new ones that are coming in. But we're not done yet, but I can't tell you how proud I am of what this group is doing and how they've gotten here. And I'm really anxious to see how they go forward.
Okay, that'll wrap things up. Thank you.
Thank you.